Hello, this is Mishasho greeting you. On this occasion, I'll tell you a story that happened to me, the thing in the bathroom. My name is Hidel, and I'm the kind of person who always tries to rationalize every situation I see or hear. However, a few years ago, something happened to me that I still cannot explain. When I started my university life, I moved to a new city and found a comfortable room, close to the university and at a good price. The house had 3 floors, and the owner had built it himself, making each room as small as possible to maximize profit. I settled on the 2nd floor, and my room had its own bathroom, which I preferred over using a shared one. Days passed without incident until I noticed something strange. One afternoon, while reviewing math exercises, I heard footsteps on the 3rd floor, as if a child were running. I thought it was just a one-time thing, but it happened approximately every 4 hours. Curious about what was happening, especially since there were no tenants on the 3rd floor at that time, I went upstairs to check and was surprised to find no one there. Being a rational person, I assumed the event was due to the physical properties of the materials the house was made of, combined with the sweltering heat of the day. I'd heard this could happen in some buildings, so I didn't think much of it. Days went by, and the phenomenon persisted. On several occasions, I went upstairs to investigate, but the result was always the same. No one was there, no animals, no people. I consulted with some engineering students from my university, but they didn't believe me, insisting that it wasn't possible. I remained puzzled, but not scared, at least not when other tenants were in the house. To me, it seemed like an incredible phenomenon, not a threatening one. Looking back, I should have paid more attention to the footsteps, as they grew louder and more intense as the weeks went by. What left me in shock happened one early morning. I was sound asleep when a loud noise woke me up at around 4 a.m. It was a cry, or at least that's what I think it was. I got out of bed and realized the sound was coming from the shared bathroom on the 2nd floor. Moreover, it sounded like a baby crying. But more than a cry, it was a wail. The baby, or whatever it was screaming at the top of its lungs as if someone were hurting it terribly. The sound was terrifying, like it was being flayed alive. I know what you're thinking. I thought the same thing at that moment. Someone is hurting a small creature. I have to help, but my instincts stopped me and I didn't open the door. Because, you see, the sound was horrifying. The baby wouldn't stop crying. However, something didn't make sense. I pressed my ear against my door to listen more closely and realized that apart from what I assumed was a baby, there was no one else. No movements, no other noises. Just that harrowing cry. I looked under my door and confirmed that the shared bathroom was closed and that there was no one outside. I was terrified. My mind raced with the various theories to explain what was happening, some of them absurd. Maybe someone had given birth in the bathroom, an unlikely option since, as I mentioned, there was no sound of anyone else. Maybe it was a wild animal, but again the lack of movement ruled that out. Then there were banging sounds on the walls, but once again no accompanying movement. As I considered these possibilities, 2 questions struck me. Why hasn't anyone reacted? Why hasn't anyone come out of their room? I mean, there were other tenants. The rooms were small, and it was easy to tell if someone was awake. I confirmed this by looking under my door and seeing that the lights in other rooms were on. The wailing continued. Unbearable. Surely, some tenant should have come out. But why weren't they? I was so panicked that I even considered the possibility that it was all a dream or nightmare and that I was imagining it. Still unsure, I decided to stay alert and not leave my room. At around 6 a.m., everything went quiet and the house fell into silence. Summoning courage, I decided to step out and see what had happened. I know this might sound foolish, but I wasn't willing to live in fear and uncertainty. With great trepidation and armed with a broomstick, I opened the door to the shared bathroom and have found nothing. Absolutely nothing. No blood, no signs of any living creature, no animal fur. Everything was spotless. Disturbed, I knocked on a tenant's door. She took a while to open, but when she did, I saw fear in her eyes as she asked me, "Did you hear that too?" Shortly after, another tenant opened her door. She was crying, terrified, and asked us what had happened. Everyone in the house had heard the baby's cries. I never found out what happened. As for the footsteps on the 3rd floor, they stopped after that day and never returned. Alright, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and hit the bell to activate notifications. I'm Mishasho. See you next time.
The moon hides behind the clouds, casting an eerie glow. Footsteps echo in the silence, sending shivers down your spine. Every breath is a battle, fear gripping at your soul. In this haunted labyrinth where nightmares take control. Welcome to the nightmare.